It's the 2023 Idaho High School Volleyball State Tournament Preview Special on IdahoSports.com. Brandon Baney with Lynnsie, Togiai-Ah, Fook, and we are breaking down the Class 3A State Tournament, Lynnsie. This is taking place at Coeur d'Alene High School up north in Idaho. And so 3A is a classification that I think is pretty balanced. Really, the top four teams are all very solid, as we'll see on the bracket. But this was a fun classification to cover this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of dominance in Snake River, but again, the competition is tight, and where a lot of the teams haven't played each other yet, that's a good opportunity. I know Kimberly and Snake River have, but as far as the rest goes, I mean, you just got to see what happens. And again, I think it is tight for 1 through 8 here. It was a bit of again, kind of a little bit of a surprise, I guess, and not really if you've followed one team the whole way, but looking at all 8 teams and their schedules, it's a little bit, I don't know.
Interesting. Yes. Okay. So here is the bracket. The 3A state tournament taking place at Coeur d'Alene High School. Your number 1 overall seed is McCall Donnelly. And everyone's going, what? Came out of left field a little bit there, but we'll talk about them in a second. And I think we both came to the conclusion that it's actually a pretty well-earned number 1 seed.
Right.
Marsh Valley is the number 8 seed. They'll play McCall Donnelly right away. Above them, the 4 and 5 matchup is a battle of F schools, Fruitland and Filer. Okay. And then at the bottom, we've got 2 versus 7, Snake River against Bonners Ferry. And then the defending champions from Kimberly are the 3 seed. They will play number 6 seed South Fremont. Okay, so let's talk about the number 1 seed McCall Donnelly, because I think when it first came out, people were like, how? But then you kind of looked at it and you said, no, they're legit. They're good.
Right. I mean, again, so well, that's just kind of how fan bases go, right? You've been following your team the whole way, and they're undefeated. They beat last year's event or whatever it is, and you're like, so what? We should be number 1. But I think the rankings just go back into not just this season but previous season in games, and they look at again the quality of opponents and things like that. But you just need to keep doing what you're doing if you're one of those teams. I mean, you don't need to let that ranking or number steer you from what you've been doing, right? I mean, again, like we've said, it's just a number. But again, earning it this far, that's the important part. That's the important thing. So
all that matters is you get one of those 8 spots at state, and then after that, it's all up to you, as you said, in keeping up with the kill this week, which was really good. That's the weekly column that Lynnsie wrote for us this volleyball season. You can see the latest edition on the homepage at IdahoSports.com. Okay, so let's talk about McCall Donnelly's the 1. But right above them are their district rivals from Fruitland. And Fruitland is the team that got to the championship last year and was kind of the favorite coming in. And McCall Donnelly kind of stole it away from them and outright earned it over the Grizzlies. But what do you make of this Fruitland team as the number 4 seed?
So I think they're tough too. And I think, again, it's going to come down to that day and, those certain sets and what happens, because they played McCall Donnelly really tight there in the end as well. They went to 5 sets and it was close, so again, emotions are high. Got to see who can control it a little better. Just little things that everybody can clean up to pick up their game. But I think that Fruitland brings a good team, Kimberly brings a good team, Snake River brings a really good team, and none of them are number 1. But I think saying that, like, these 2 teams have faced each other, but they haven't all faced yet. So I think it'll be interesting when they haven't faced someone they have before.
Yes, there are some unknowns in there. You look at Bonners Ferry as the number 7 seed, for example. Well, who knows what they're going to do? They're going to play Snake River right away. It does seem like on the bottom half of that bracket, Snake River and Kimberly are kind of destined to meet. They split during the regular season, and I am ready for any potential rematch between these 2 powers.
Right. I do think Snake River can do it. I think in their latest meeting, though, Snake River did beat them in 3 sets, where compared to earlier on, Kimberly beat them in 5. So that is just something to mention, because that is huge as far as sets go. If you can beat a team in 3 sets, that shows your consistency more than anything. Now, if you're taking it back and forth, to 4 or 5 sets, that also tells you something else. So, so yeah.
For sure. I wanted to give a shout out as well to Filer and Marsh Valley up at the top of the bracket, the 5 and the 8. They both won state play-in matches to get to state. Filer beat Weiser, last year's 3rd place team at state, to earn their way. So that's well earned. Filer is a team that always seems to be at state, no matter what it is in girls athletics. And then Marsh Valley, how about Marsh Valley getting to state, knocking out Big Bad Sugar Salem, the kind of the perennial power. I know they're down a little bit from years past, but still, anytime you can knock out Sugar and deny them a chance to get to state, everybody else is saying thank you.
That's true. Well, and like you said, Sugar's built such a volleyball dynasty. I think that it's odd for people to hear that they didn't even make it to state sometimes. Again, you have, those down years or whatever, but, when you have built such a program, you have players there that are playing since they're really little. So, they get to know the game before they're in high school anyway. So I think for Marsh Valley to pull that off, that's big for them. And also because Marsh Valley, hasn't been a volleyball dominant school. So
yeah, it's awesome to see new teams get there. And so if Sugar Salem didn't make it, well, who did from their district? It was South Fremont. And South Fremont started hot out of the gates. They kind of hit a lull in the middle of the season, and then they appeared to have found their form again right at the right time for the playoffs. I think South Fremont's a very dangerous team also.
I agree. I think they're kind of those ones that are just a little bit unknown, just because they've kind of been on the up and coming as of late, where they've always had to battle Sugar to try and find their way. But I think their program's been building for, I don't know, the past 5 to 7 years now. And so it's kind of been a long time coming for them to have a deep state run.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of years where they could have gotten to state, but
right,
that darn Sugar was in the way. And so I'm really excited to see what they can do now. So, okay, let's look at this bracket, Lynnsie, as we take a look at it here. Who is your dark horse team? Somebody outside of that top 3 of McCall, Donnelly, Snake River, Kimberly that you think is capable of going on a deep run here at state?
I'm going with the team we just talked about, South Fremont. I think that they have the potential to get deep in there. They have the athletes to do it. They've kind of just, had some inconsistency here and there. But it looks like they're coming together at the right time. They may be seated that low, which seems about right for as many district champions as we have there. But I do think that they have what they need to get far, and maybe,
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm totally on board with South Fremont as well, but to pick someone different, I will say Filer as the number 5 seed. They always have really good athletes, whether it's basketball, volleyball, softball. They just always seem to be in the mix, and so don't count out Filer.
Right.
I think Filer could be really sneaky and really dangerous. Okay, let's take a look at our 3A players to watch. We chose one from each team. Again, if your favorite player didn't get picked, it's not personal. It's just a jumping off point to get the conversation rolling. There's a lot of talented players on all of these teams, but we chose one from each squad. Here's what we've got. Avery Bayer from Bonners Ferry, Allie Bishop of Filer, Brooke Hardy of Fruitland. She was the 3A player of the year last year as a freshman. She's now a sophomore. Mallory Kelsey from Kimberly, one of the few remnants remaining from last year's championship team. Callie Dalkey from Marsh Valley. Gabby Green from McCall Donnelly, very underrated athlete. Reese Baldwin from Snake River, and then Shantae Lecheminant from South Fremont. Say that 5 times fast.
Oh, lots of good players there again.
Who are you most excited to see?
Oh boy. Oh, I don't know. I say it's pretty close between Brooke Hardy and Reese Baldwin. Reese Baldwin, watched her since she was younger. She's come a long way. She's a senior now. Brooke, only being a sophomore, but being the player of the year last year, she's, still on the up and coming. That's tough. Probably both of them.
Awesome. And I think it's going to be, I'm most excited to see Gabby Green from McCall Donnelly. She's a dynamic athlete, great basketball player as well. And now with McCall Donnelly also being the #1 seed, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Gabby and her teammates. So I'm really excited to see Gabby Green from McCall Donnelly compete. So, but a lot of good athletes on every squad here at the 3A state tournament. All right, Lynnsie, it is championship prediction time. There's the bracket one more time. Who do you have in the championship and who do you have winning it all?
Oh, geez. Okay, so I think Snake River will be in it. Oh, as far as who they face, oh, that's tough.
Here's the bracket again. Here, I'll put it back up there.
Okay. So I think it'll be Snake River, and well, I don't. So I didn't until I did some more research, but it could. I'm gonna go with McCall Donnelly, just because of their momentum they have now. They're on the other side of the bracket. They're gonna possibly play a familiar foe there, and if they can make it through that, then they have a really good shot.
I could tell you were really conflicted on that, and that I think speaks to the quality of all the teams that are competing here at the state 3A tournament. Lynnsie, I'm going to go boring. I'm going to go rematch of last year's championship. I like Kimberly and Fruitland, and I'll take Fruitland this time. I'm going with the Grizzlies. What do you think?
I think they have the team to do it. I just think looking and researching into those teams as of late right now, it's just going to be tight. I don't want to say it's not that it's not possible, because anything's possible, but it's just those teams have to remain sort of under the radar themselves, and they have to just keep preparing silently. Just keep your head down and work. You don't want to speak things that you're not there yet. You got to work.
Yes, very important. You can't just show up and expect to win. You still have to put in the work, even at state, or especially at state. Yes. So okay, and again, when we're making these picks, it's all in fun. It's not anything serious. And of course, the #1 rule at IdahoSports.com is we love to be wrong. So if you're Snake River, I would love to come back and go, you know what? I was totally wrong. You guys did great. So that's the #1 rule, is it's fun, and we love to be wrong, right, Lynnsie?
Yes, very true. And ultimately we just want to see good volleyball. So, we're rooting for everybody.
That's right. We're just rooting for good quality matchups. So that's the 3A state volleyball tournament at Coeur d'Alene High School this Friday and Saturday. Lynnsie, thank you for breaking down what was a very difficult 3A bracket.
Very tight. Good luck, girls.